All right, we should be back.
Hello,
Mash. Yeah.
welcome everyone to some more MAGFest 2022 for you. We have uh, Studio who's going to be running Baby Coyote for us, and yeah, Studio, want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. So let me get the game started up. This game has an intro that only plays on boot up, so we get the full Baby Coyote experience. You gotta see the intro. Um, I give some background about this game as we kind of get in here. This was released last year. I didn't see it played until earlier in 21, and it's very this game's very powerful. That's how I'm going to describe this game. There's a lot of energy in this game that I absolutely love, and I legitimately enjoy playing the heck out of this game. That's going to be my disclaimer at the top of this. Um, because there's as you can tell, there's a lot of plot and a lot of things going on at the same time. Um, in terms of soundtrack, in terms of aesthetic, in terms of kind of everything. If you're missing some of the dialogue because some of it's actually very hard to read just due to the speed at which the text appears and also some of the typos, the evil triplets are appearing. The General Warthog and the Tiger King see them appearing, and the Arts and Craft Kingdom island, I believe, is under threat. So go ahead, click on New Game. So we'll go on Go. So 3, 2, 1, Go. If the button presses, there we go. The button pressed, and this is Baby Coyote. So I'll introduce mechanics as they become relevant. Right now we got spacebar and we got move. Spacebar makes us jump. There's a lot to this jump that will become very apparent very quickly, but I'll save that for later. And then you'll notice there's a hot soundtrack to this game. This music's got bops. As far as I can tell, this is either someone local to the game maker, or someone, or a family friend, or both. But yeah, so the basics of the game: we can move, we can jump. If I fall in the water, I die. There is some issues with collision, so you'll see me jump quite a bit because if not, I'll get stuck. You actually are much safer in the air here, but this is a static jump. You cannot control your jump height, which comes into play quite often. Just for any sort of, small management, and if you want to optimize, you have to jump early so you land at a good pace. Alright, so we can attack now. The attack is not great, because you'll notice it doesn't actually kill enemies right away. It just kind of pushes them. And you can also spam it infinitely. There's also other properties to the attack that I'll bring up later. But one way to play this game is just to do this the entire time. And just always have a wave of death. It's actually pretty efficient for certain levels to just keep doing this. Because it means that there will be enemies quite often towards the end of the level that you just won't deal with. And you also kind of a hot trick there. That's the wall jump. You do the wall jump by pressing the jump button. And the wall jump works on all the walls. So sometimes there's a wall, that just doesn't have a top and lets you go to the end of the level. And that's going to be pretty much the basis of movement in this game, is that there's a wall jump. It's extremely good. But you do need to be very close. There are some walls. There are some death planes to avoid. And quite a bit of the run is actually learning what you can jump on, what you can't. So this is a weird level because I don't know why, but there's mobile controls. Or controls as if it was a mobile game. We're on level 3, we don't really need the Space C introduction, nor the arrow keys to know how to move. This is a death plane. It is, I think, the lowest one in the game. So I'm very cautious about it. You'll also notice that if I use my shot in this area, which this is a normal background if you do keep proceeding in the area, that you can't see your shots. I find that very fun. But yeah, so the way the wall jump works is Baby Coyote has a jump distance, or kind of jump area around him that will let him jump from a higher distance, and that applies to walls. It doesn't apply to enemies, which is very important. Because it makes certain enemies very dangerous because it'll just get caught on them. So this is the first boss fight. There was a property that kind of got shown earlier, which is that enemies don't die, when they take damage, they take time to die, and that applies to really all enemies. Most enemies don't take continuous damage. They have an invincibility frames after they've taken damage. It's actually kind of nice because in terms of mashing, you don't have to mash super hard, but it also means that boss fights can be kind of slow. The way hit detection works too will come up a lot. As I kind of just sat in the boss and killed it without much issue. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty nice way to handle bosses in video games if you could just sit next to them and just kill them. Very much reminiscent of old school games where I'm gonna say like Amiga era games where quite often there's a boss and you don't try to dodge it, you don't try to get past its abilities. You just know if you hit it fast enough, often enough, it will die. So let's talk about taking damage. There's invincibility frames, so this is an enemy that instantly kills me, and so I get damaged by the cat bomb to not die to that little soldier. They take multiple hits, they have the invincibility frames I previously mentioned, so it takes a good like 10-15 seconds to kill them, which ends up being problematic. Also, that's a death plane, but we fell into the exit of a level. So I'll game over, and then can go back to crayon and start triangle and yellow. This is a maze level. I've literally never seen the maze. The only part of the levels I've seen is those 3 platforms and this wall. I've never seen anybody solve this level legitimately, including casual playthroughs. I have no idea what the rest of the level looks like. I have no idea if the maze is solvable. I just don't want to find out. So, hitboxes in this game, especially for bosses, this is where it comes up the most. You can just kind of be in the hitbox of an enemy, and the way they do detection is on trigger enter is probably what it is, or on collision enter. And I actually know this because I messed around in Unity and done a lot of kind of basic game dev stuff, and I actually really like being able to spot this. What they did was they detect when you enter the boss's hitbox, and then you take damage. But the problem is, what if you're already in the hitbox and you should be taking damage? Well, you don't take any damage, you're fine. You just keep sitting there. And so that's going to go ahead and cause a lot of boss fights to be me getting into the boss's hitbox and just mashing the button. Not all of them, there are some differences. Let's see, let's try this. There we go. I think I found a way to save time on load screens, which is very silly, but... so this is, I think, the Frigid, spelled F-R-I-G-I-D? No, it's Frigid. I was supposed to say that's how you spell Frigid. It's the Frigid, that's what it is. Frigid Island, Frigid area. Big thing to note is that these are from Minecraft, and walking on these pieces of glass is very difficult. Quite often you'll just collide because of the collision. There's a death plane very close to the right here. Close enough that I don't know why I jumped. That's actually very risky. And going ahead and avoiding that death plane lets us skip most level and get only a little bit of Kino Hall's fantastic soundtrack. You'll notice at the end of levels I am spamming... Oh, and I'm going to try to do this here now, actually. But I'm spamming the menu really quickly. Oh, that just crashes the game. Alright, cool. So that trick doesn't work on that level. Good to know. But anyhow, so what I was doing was I was pausing and unpausing the game, and what that causes is a very fun thing to happen. The time setting for this game, it's a Unity variable you can adjust. Oh, we actually have to do that level again too. That's fortunate. So when you adjust time in Unity, it affects everything. But it's one variable, and if something affects it, you have to... like essentially, a bunch of things can affect the variable, so pausing and unpausing, that's how they pause the game, is that the time variable becomes 0, so nothing happens outside of music playing. All the physics calculation stops, all the, kind of movement in the game stops, but unpausing it sets it back to default. So when you finish a level, to create that slowdown effect, the time scale becomes like 0.2. And what's bad about that is it affects everything. It affects the fade out, it affects load times. You kind of need to do, if you don't pause and unpause, there will be minute and a half load times because it's being affected by the time scale. So by pausing and unpausing, I do two things. I one, end the level faster by causing the fade out effect to go faster, and two, cause the load time to go faster for certain levels. So there's a reason this level crashed, and I'm not surprised it crashed. This is the level that has a puzzle. Your stream's not chugging? that's just what the game moves at for this level. I did hit that one cup, and it's the cups. It's the cups and a couple of the enemies just completely crush the FPS on this level, and I love it.
That's good to know, because I was about to adjust my glasses for the stream chug.
It's like, nah, don't check your bit rates. Don't see if you're dropping frames. It's fine. I mean, you could be dropping. I don't know. I'm not keeping up with your frames. So there's also a puzzle there. You're supposed to push a box. But once again, I've never seen anybody push the box, because you can just go to the exit and leave. All right, last I think traditional boss fight. There's an enemy that we just let walk into us. This time we're gonna go for the safe strat here on the right, especially with the crash. So the boss, you're gonna see the hitbox in action. The boss is gonna hit me, and then because of how bosses track you, they always go to you. So that means if you're underneath a boss, directly underneath a boss, they'll just stand underneath you. The problem is when you're in a case like this, where they reach you, they just don't move, and if you're in this boss's legs, I think I'm in the hitbox actually. I don't know if I might not be. I might be able to jump and take damage, but she just will never move. This game rules. It's also not the last time we see this boss, but it is the last time we have to defeat her. There's also another attack I haven't mentioned. It doesn't do anything. It causes a little headbutt thing, and I've never seen it do anything. It's great. Okay, Blanket Forest. Blanket Forest is actually going to be the hard part of the run, because these guys have collision, and I screwed that up actually. It's a little scary. Should have gone a little faster there. And because they have collision, they cause a lot of problems. And just in general, it actually has... So it probably has the hardest tricks. Taking damage is annoying, but not necessarily all that bad. I don't want to take more than 2 shots, really. Or more than 1 shot, though. The music's very, very quiet here, and I actually didn't know there was music for a long time because I play this game fairly turned down, but it's supposed to be spooky, so it's okay. Unfortunately, audio balance in this game is kind of a nightmare because the audios for levels vary quite a bit. We balance this versus the menu music, which is fairly loud, but some tracks are just really quiet, you know? And you can't really hear them when you balance against the loud stuff. Okay, so we got a spooky ghost. First spooky ghost passed. That's the slow one. Here comes the fast one. Ah, I'm spooked. The reason this level is scary is because of the next section. Because like I said, they have collision. You can actually jump off them without taking damage like I was doing. But a couple things happen. One, if you walk into them, they will slow down. And 2, they're not particularly easy to jump off of like other creatures. So we got the wall of ghosts. And the problem with the wall of ghosts is if you're at the very bottom, they move faster than you, so you can't jump to the left and jump up them effectively. You very much run the risk that they just push you off the end of the stage and you die. And it rules. Doing this level casually is actually very hard because you have to time it essentially you have to time it so they're on the way back, and it's a very small window you have to not just get destroyed by ghosts.
So besides pushing you physically, can the ghosts actually kill you?
Oh yeah, totally. They can do that too. It's just that most levels dying isn't really a risk because this game's actually pretty nice with health. It's usually like you mess up a section and it snowballs into another mistake. But this is going to be the hardest kind of traditional trick in the run. And it's there's a little bit of randomness to it, unfortunately. So it might take me a few attempts. So I got to fall and then jump off the side of the platform, and I got cool. So the reason that guy's so tricky is as you're falling, you gain speed, and you gain speed very quickly in this game. So that platform is going down, so I'm falling. So Baby Coyote getting to the left of that platform to go around this entire stage can be tricky because it's a very small window to actually jump off of as well. If you jump too early, you hit the ceiling. If you jump too late, you just fall. Also, we just skipped a level. This is my favorite skip because most people don't know about it. I did not know about it. The way this game does levels, and this will be very relevant very soon, is there's some bit of registry that every time you beat a level, it updates to the level that you've completed. So this means if you replay through the game, actually, it locks you out of levels that you've completed previously, which I love it. I don't know, I find that funny. But it also has a different value for the level that you should be going to. Like I said, this is all very like kind of newbie Unity stuff that I totally understand what they were trying to do, and they did it the hard way because I don't think they, if you're learning how to do this, you end up with a lot of extra values and values that you don't have that you should have. So they pointed the level to go to at the wrong level. They pointed at this guy, and this is not the level. We were supposed to have a boss fight. That boss fight, quite frankly, not very good. I don't like it, and I'm kind of glad we don't get it. We get a death warp at the end. It's supposed to be a puzzle. You'll notice if you go to Blanket Forest, we have Big Blanket. We're not gonna fight him. It's a bad fight. You know what? I'm gonna say that's a bad level, and I'm glad we did. I love every level in this game except that one and one other, which we have not seen yet. So because of the fact that it's pointed at the wrong level though, and it updates when you complete a level by completing the previous level, we can use the death warp to go ahead and just skip out and get over here. Everything tends to update when you complete a level. So like the actual hitting of the star when you start the fade out, that's actually what updates all those values. So that's why death warps work, or death finishes work. Because even though the game is killing you, the second you touch the exit, it updated where you were in the game. This is, by the way, for context, we are now on Hot Glue Mountain. We're climbing a very epic, as you can tell by the music, mountain to try and reach Fat Cat, who is the bad guy. I realized I started out with the cousins, I think, but they're kind of bad, but Fat Cat's like really bad. I could have gone a little bit more height, but what I've run into is you actually spend a lot of time falling, so it doesn't really quite work out. And I believe we're gonna get what I think is the coolest skip in the game. It's not the hardest, despite the fact that it's gonna look. I love this skip. This is one of my favorite skips in a video game. So these mushrooms here, they give you extra momentum. There's no cap on how much momentum they'll give you. If you're moving from a fast enough speed, you will get more height. So because we fell from such a high spot, we actually got extra distance. I'm just holding down right now. And if I do this correctly, I should land right about now. And that just skips the level, baby! We're done! Except the last part, which is not synced up because we did it too quickly. If you come back later, it'll be synced up. But that platform, we're supposed to ride it for the entire level. And I kind of did. And now we just gotta wait for this guy to show up. If you come back later with the platform synced up properly, you'll reach here and the platform will be there waiting for you, and you gotta rush to grab it. Instead, we just finish.
It's like a global timer.
It is. This game is actually very good about that. Because you can use music as a timer actually. Oh, okay, I did that right. Actually, I used the audio, the chorus there, to time when I'm supposed to jump off. I've just recognized a port or like a note. I'm like, all right, let's get out of here. This is Captain Fat Cat. I forget what he's doing, I'm gonna be honest. Here's another boss fight. If there's any donations or any comment or any feelings you have, this is a pretty good boss fight for them. Do note, because I did the pause unpause at the end of the level, this loaded about a minute and a half faster. This load time will usually be about 2 minutes if you don't pause and unpause. It's awesome. But yeah, this fight, it's got problems. You can jump, and it doesn't really save time because of how it syncs up the immunities or invincibility from being hit. I don't know. What's up, Mashy?
I'm just still trying to wrap my head around the fact that the baby coyote is a tiny poodle.
I hadn't brought that up because you know what? You gotta recognize that yourself. I live in Coyote. I live in the Southwest. They don't look like this. They really don't.
It's a regional thing.
They're also. So a lot of this game is inspired by the Turks and Caicos Islands, which will be revealed shortly. And like, there's not coyotes there, so I guess I don't know where the coyote came from. I love it. I love that it's a coyote that looks like a poodle. I love this game. This game is awesome to me. We also have a cutscene coming up. Once again, pause, unpause to get the timescale correct. There's not really cutscenes in this game, so like the fact that it's there, I'm very happy about. Which is, you know, we got the dialogue. We've had plenty of dialogue moments, but they're getting chucked off the airship. I love it. Go boys, go. Okay. So we're getting towards the end of the run. 5 more levels to go. Couple fairly brief, couple fairly long. Is This Art is, I think, one of my favorite levels because it's actually really hard to do casually because do you see that moon in the background? It has collision. But it's not lined up perfect. Like, I will be by that moon and not get hit. I actually might just die to damage also. Which, not a huge waste. Let's see, if I hit that, yeah, I gotta wait for that bomb to roll off now.
It's odd because I could have sworn that moon was in the background.
It's definitely looks like a look. It's got a rotoscope background moon. Like, it definitely should be safe, right? You'd be surprised. So let's ride this down. New mechanic: the balls fall. So I'm not going to hit the collision of the moon, and it's because I'm doing this. I would show it off, but it's a very good chance I die, and now this would take long enough to get back to where I'm a little bit less comfortable. So first of all, the actual trick here is to hit the right part of the mushroom. Oh. Also, I don't know if you can hear the music. It's actually like kind of weirdly muffled for the audio, and it's because they like auto duck the guy's voice out of the song. So right about here where it collides, if you're jumping through those platforms underneath like you're supposed to with the mushrooms, you just fall and die. I don't know how you're supposed to beat the level, like, without doing what I did. It's like a big prank that they set for the player, and I love it. we tricked you because it'd be funny, and it is.
What's cool about speedrunning is that you've figured out how to get around it.
Oh yeah. Naturally, being a speedrunner makes this game way easier to play because every now and then you go, this is impossible to do normally. What's the stupid way? And then the stupid way is awesome. Additionally, there were a bunch of death planes with the ball area. They're pretty easy to navigate. You just have to... But, like, if you don't know to navigate, that level takes much longer because you have to do a whole platforming section. But honestly, it's fine. It's just, you know, slow for a speedrun. This is also one of my favorite songs, and also, this is a level that separates the categories. So, first of all, the lyrics for the song is, I think, your girlfriend's got you on layaway? No, I got your girlfriend on layaway, I think it is. And so what happens with this level is, if I enter this teleporter, I die. And so I don't know if you saw it, that I had the registry editor open. The reason I had the registry editor open is because you can't beat this level. You cannot actually complete that level. You have to use regedit to say you completed it so you can go to Welcome to the Craft Kingdom. That death plane is unavoidable. There's no way around it. We've looked at maps of the level. You just cannot beat that level. It rules. I love it. It's the tricky level that destroys you. And because you can't beat it, if you want to actually do a full game run, you need to edit your registry to complete the game, and it's awesome. I love it. I love this game. This level, we're gonna see a lot of these guys now. I do think the end of the game is a little bit of a downturn in terms of quality, unfortunately, because we're gonna see a lot more enemies that take a lot longer to kill. But it follows the plot of the game. We're now, at the kingdom of Fat Cat's kingdom, I think, and we are going to, defeat him. But he's got his army.
The quality was front-loaded.
Mm-hmm. So what's funny is I think the developers started to realize how broken the game was in certain points, and started developing around that. I hope I got that. Okay, so one of the reasons you do that skip is the platforming slower, but also there's 2 of those enemies at the end that insta-kill you, and they take a long time to kill. But you start seeing a lot more death planes pop up like halfway through the game, and like death planes that will hit you if you're trying to skip stuff. And then like jumps that don't seem possible unless you're doing so you can get extra height if you jump off the ground, which doesn't really come up that often. Mostly if you just need to go up, you try and do it early. But like if I'm jumping off my hitbox, you can see me going way higher. So yeah, this area is not great because we lose the Kino Hall music. Kino Hall is from Turks and Caicos, and his music's all very horny and like they feel like it's aimed at because it's Turks and Caicos in the Caribbean. It feels like it's aimed at Caribbean tourists. So like I said, this level, don't love it. You can't really do a lot to go faster outside of a couple skips because you cannot get over these guys without getting hit. Essentially, like even if you try and do a damage boost or a damage skip, you just die. You don't have the height. You don't have the any method to really traverse, and you can't pre-hit a lot of guys because they have these elevation changes. Like I can't reach this guy to hit him early. I can't reach the last guy to hit him early. So this is where I feel like, you know what? They were rushing. They wanted to create an epic fight scene, but they didn't want to make any enemies, which I can understand. That's game dev. You try to really manage your assets and manage your time. And unfortunately, just spam a lot of the soldier, who we actually don't have to kill until this level, I believe. So, you know, at least it's only one spot. This guy's my favorite out of all of them. I think you can tell why.
You mean these guys?
No, this specific guy. The one that's jittering.
You mean both of them?
Oh, yeah, both of them. My two friends. I gotcha.
Guys, just as a reminder, we are still collecting for donations for charity. That is !donate !charity in the chat, just so that you're aware.
Also, I love this guy. We saw these boxes earlier, I think, in the Frigid Kingdom. They rule. It's just a normal enemy. I don't think it one-shots you. I've never gotten hit by it because it's a giant box that's very easy to avoid. But we do... we actually can save some time here by hitting multiple enemies at once. Essentially, I was kind of machine gunning and trying to get a bunch of waves going, which let the further enemies get hit as well. There's also a bunch of health pickups here, which I find very funny just because you can't... everything one-shots you. They don't do anything. Literally, there's no benefit at this point because there's no enemy that doesn't one-shot you before you beat the level. Okay. So one more level to go before... Actually, this is the final level, technically, so... Let's see, before the final boss, but we're already there. This is... So, no music, no enemies. The game will actually call this out in a bit of dialogue we won't have time to read. This is world building. So, the reason I don't hate this level, because, you know, you get stuck on it, it's not super interesting, is because this is supposed to... I played through this and I went, it's really weird that there's no enemies here, huh? And the game was like, oh yeah, wow, this is strange. I bet they're setting a trap. And you know, I'll recognize some fun world building. This is... What I like about this game is that the person making it, AT, he's very much trying to do stuff. He's trying to elicit a lot of moods, elicit a lot of emotions. And so, you know, you get this quiet room. You get it must be a trap. Oh no! You get the epic battlefield that we just had. It doesn't necessarily work out in a lot of ways. And the fact that they're kind of trying to go for the fact that they kind of, you know, put so much out there is what I love about this. Also, Fat Cat's got cool eyebrows, and I think it's important to recognize this.
That he does.
Oh no, he's a real cat now. He's Dark Kitty. So this is my favorite boss fight in the game, and it will be noticeably different from the other boss fights. I never mentioned that's Fat Cat's cat-girl girlfriend in the robot. Oh fuck, I died. I wasn't even paying attention because I was looking at her cat ears. Sorry. We have to do that last level again. Real talk, brain completely melted there. I went, I know what I'm doing. Whoops. Sorry.
It happens to the best of us. Who was the cat? It was the cat eyes.
Yeah, it was the cat ears though. I went hubba hubba, and my eyes popped out like a cartoon character, and you couldn't hear it, but my tongue hit the floor and rolled out. But yeah, so I get very caught up in the lore for this because most characters have an explanation, and like it's very overly detailed. That one, I think, is just like a very one line dropped off, like, oh yeah, that's my cat girl girlfriend in the robot, and you'll notice she's actually not. She's just a normal human. which does lead me to questions about what this world is composed of. The robot just has cat ears, and I don't know if it's that fat cat is that she never leaves a robot, or if that fat cat thinks she is a robot. It's never really identified. So anyhow, I actually went better. This is much faster traversal this level too. So there you go. I just had to get my run back. That was even like a good death. I just like stopped paying attention to my character. You cannot skip cutscenes of this game, which is extremely unfortunate. It does add a couple minutes to an any percent run. There were a couple cutscenes we didn't need to watch that I did put on, but they actually don't add that much time when you pause and unpause. Once again, this was a 2-minute load state without pausing and unpausing, because the time state from the previous level would have affected us. So, Cat Girl Girlfriend, I don't know if she takes damage, quite honestly. Never stood to find out. So the reason I like this boss fight is because it's a normal boss fight. You can hit it. Hey, and time.
All right. Nicely done.
Thank you. There's like 5 minutes of credits, by the way. There's like 30 seconds of resolution, which is that Fat Cat gives up, and is defeated, and we save the day. So I don't know if y'all want to let that play out. This is the Baby Coyote, if you do not. Oh yeah, this ending! I forgot about this! It's the Matrix, baby! It's relevant! Alright. That's about it for me, though. If we want to, we can let the credits play out. I don't think I mentioned letting that happen, though, so I'm pretty ambivalent. I have Baby Coyote's emotions right now. Which is, I'm good with whatever.
I'm just gonna check with tech. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. I mean, the only other run, there's one left. It's Final Fantasy 15. That's 4.5 hours. So, like, if the credits are worth watching, we'll watch the credits. You tell me.
I could honestly talk through them. I do like the ending. I think we can watch at least the ending and a little bit of the credits.
Okay.
Because essentially, the reason I like this game is that it's very heartfelt. It's very personal to this person. Because, like I said, it's about the Turks and Caicos Islands, which is, I believe, where they're from. I don't have all the details of. This is what I gleaned from the credits and general aesthetic of the game. And so the reason I like this game a lot is because it is very much this person's expression of how much they love where they live. And it's also dedicated to someone that passed away. So it's like, to me, this is very much someone kind of putting their emotions, their feelings about where they're from, some people they care about, and really just sticking it out there. And like, I think that is, as silly as this game is, and it is an extremely silly game, there's a lot of fun and a lot of emotion behind it that makes me just kind of like cheer for this. And like, I actually think a lot of what happens in terms of, like trying to set the mood isn't half bad. It's not amazing. I'm not going like, let's put The Last of Us, Baby Coyote for most emotional games. But the fact that you're trying to set some mood, you're trying to really build a world, I think is very admirable from the game creator. And I think that's important to recognize for stuff like this, because people dunk on kind of bad indie games all the time. I think it's fun to do, but it's also, they put something out there, which is scary. I've done Game Jam games, and like that's scary as hell. And those Game Jam games were, in terms of content, much, much, much smaller than this. This game, if you play through it casually, is usually at least an hour, which I've made 8-minute games. So there you go, inspired by the Turks and Caicos Islands. And this song is a tourism song for the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Fantastic.
The gimmick here is that the credits will really just be this person giving themselves credit for every role, which I love. But, we don't need to go ahead and watch through all that. We'll see it in a second. There we go, director and lead designer, Andrew Thomas. So, I think we're good to cut now, unless you want to listen to the Turks and Caicos Islands song.
Maybe I'll do that as the break music. But no, if you want to shout anything out before we transition.
Yeah, play this game. It's on Steam. It's free. Baby Coyote. I guess, follow my Twitch. Sure. Go Mets. Love the Mets.
All right. Sounds good. We will switch to an intermission, and we'll be back with the final game of MAGFAST 2022. It'll be Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. Any percent ring run by Kios. So, get set up for that. We'll see you in a few minutes.